All right, everybody, welcome to Fight Sport Manila, and this is the Pulse. This is where we connect the fans to the whole world. And today we have a very special guest. I know this guy for quite some time, but I'm sure you did, because every time there's an event in Manila, you'd probably see his face when it comes to UFC or One Championship.
Oh, you can't miss this guy.
Yep, we have with us Bryan Smith. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing? Thanks for having
Doing
me.
well.
Awesome. So we asked Brian to be here because he knows a lot about One Championship. He knows everything. He's
Yeah.
Victor Cui even greets him on his birthday. That's how close he is to the promotion.
He's like the front row Brian of
Yeah,
One
front.
FC,
He's the front row Brian of One FC.
and his name is
Yeah.
really Brian too.
Anyways, Brian, let's start with the big news. Ben Askren retiring. What are
Hmm?
your thoughts about it?
Man, I can't believe it. But I already saw some stories in the past where he has that timeline where he wants to hang his gloves for good. But I was surprised when he defeated Kazakhstan and announcing it after 2 days maybe. So I was surprised for a bit. I'm expecting him to defend his title more, maybe run for super fights. But yeah, that was quicker than I thought, And against Japanese legend Shinya Aoki, so man, it must be a good fight this November for sure in Singapore.
Yeah, if you'd remember, after his last fight, he was taking off his gloves, and we were actually arguing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
We were
said
arguing because he was saying Ben's gonna retire, and it didn't make sense to me.
every time you
Good
remove
prediction.
gloves, it means something's gonna happen. I thought he was gonna retire, but nevertheless, that was a great fight against
Mhm.
Kadistam. And
Yeah.
there's where the next question goes, man. Who do you think would win, Shinya Aoki or Ben Askren?
Oh yeah, good question, man. Both superior ground game for sure.
Uh huh.
Uh, well, Ashton goes for the takedown. Shinya might pull a scissor takedown, maybe, but for sure it's gonna be Ben looking for that ground and pound where it is common in wrestling game in MMA. With Shinya, we can expect some leg locks maybe. So, but me, I'm taking Ben to win this fight because Ben is on another level, man. We saw him in Bellator, dominant against these top welterweights. So, yeah, especially the fight is at welterweight. So, Shinya's like a normal 155 guy. So, yeah, I'm expecting Ben to win, maybe a TKO. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. 18 and 0.
Do you think Shinya actually fought Gary Tonin for the
Yeah,
submission
that's
only thing?
yeah.
Yeah,
Grapple.
this is not a grappling super fight. Just to be clear, this is going to be
An
an
MMA fight.
actual MMA fight, and that's Ben Askren against Shinya Aoki. But my thing is, man, they're both from the same camp. Do you think they're gonna go hard on each other?
Yeah, I think it's Ben's retirement fight against Shinya's losing skid. I think he lost to Folayang like last November, then lost to Gary Tone, the Lion Killer. So yeah, he's on a two-fight losing skid, and losing for the third time might hurt his career and his legacy. So yeah, it's gonna be most for they really want to win. And yeah, I'm expecting Ben to win, closing his career with a decisive victory. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's the next thing, man. Shinya Aoki lost twice already, and I think Ben would be a really tough competition for him.
But just so we're clear, Gary Tonin isn't a walk in the park either.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
Yeah.
leg lock guy.
Yeah, and it was in a grappling match. It's both their world, but this time, I'm worrying a bit about Shinya, especially I think the Edward Folayang fight. I think he got traumatized by by the punches of Folayang, the striking. That's why he chose the grappling match. But I do believe once Shinya locks anyone in the ground, he has a very huge chance of locking in the submission.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, bro. You know, in that flying fight, he was doing well. You know, he even got Edwards back. I believe in round one.
Hmm.
It was a
Yeah.
it was Shinya pushing the pace, and you know when he got double leg, and yeah, mostly in that ground game, you know he was so dominant until you know Edwards survived the storm, and yeah, there you go. It's a third. Is it the third round? Third round.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he
the
won.
third round indeed.
Yeah. Also, the Gary Tony, he's defending well. You know, with that grappling super fight.
Uh-huh.
But you know, the Lion Kill is a different beast. So
Yeah, he's
yeah, I think it's a bad spot for Shinya. Just it's a bad spot for
yeah.
any type of
And I
fight.
think
So
Ben
and
Askren
he's
isn't the
two of the
type to
best
make
in the world. So
mistakes. I think Ben
yeah,
isn't,
yeah.
yeah, with
One
the
mistake
kind of wrestling
can
base he
cost you.
has.
Indeed, indeed. And also the thing
Mhm,
about this is that the Chatri did mention that Ben will be getting an executive position at once. So he's gonna be
mhm.
the third fighter. I think Rich Franklin Bashir was also hired by
Cheers. Yeah.
one, yeah. And I
Mhm.
think he's gonna be the third one. So do
And
you
you
think
I
Mhm.
also heard Bibiano when he's going to retire.
What?
Uh, part of his contract upon resigning, yeah, he's going to be an executive too. He's going to be the fourth guy from in an active MMA competition getting a one executive spot. Yeah, that's what I've heard. When
This
Bibiano after that release fight, he resigned with a new contract, and part of that was when he retires, it's going to be one of the executives there. So yeah, good for the Flash.
that's one of the reasons why we got Brian here. He knows everything about one. I didn't know about that Bibiano thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
Bibiano.
if Bibiano's gonna retire, Ben, man, who's gonna be the new poster boy for one? I believe Angela Lee doesn't fight much. Brandon Vera, he's got a few good years if he would want to. But aside from that, they still need that star. Actually, leaving Ben with the welterweight, if he defeats Aoki, then there's not gonna be a clear cut a star in the welterweight division of one. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah, bro. Well, I was expecting Marat Gafarov to be that poster boy there,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
when
Gafurov.
he
He's
lost
done good
to
things
Martin
there.
Nguyen, I mean, Martin with the SSC cap, winner's cap right here. So I'm expecting that guy like he had six rear naked chokes victory, against top competition, Ev Ting, Martin Nguyen, Narantungal Jadamba, and the rest. I mean, I'm expecting that Russian to be the next big thing in Asia, but you can never tell in the fight, right?
Yeah,
So
actually, I also got surprised,
the
Mhm. but I did see
yeah.
Martin Nguyen doing a lot of. He learned from that last fight, and he
Mm,
became smarter, and that's why
yeah.
he won the fight. And props to
Hmm.
Nguyen, man.
Yeah.
Gafurov is no walk in the park. He could punch you hard, and he could choke you harder.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that fight was like that Aoki Folayang fight. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a striker versus grappler thing. So Martin, just like Edwards, survived the grappling skills of the champs rather. So I think that's one of the formula there. When you survive the ground game of those grapplers and BJJ artists, just survive their game on the ground, get the fight on the feet, and man, that's going to be some confidence for them, right? So that's what happened with Martin and Edward, who are champions now.
Yeah, indeed. And I'll go back to my question, man. Who do you think could carry the welterweight division? in one?
Well, I'm I'm rooting for Agilantani, the alligator. Well, with his fight with Ben, it was clearly a one-sided fight too, just like with Kazakhstan. But when if Ben retires after this November, yeah, good question, bro. I mean, who's going to be the welterweight champ right there? I think Aglan might have a shot there. I don't know who's with the welterweight division there. Some Jeff Wang, maybe. I don't know. Do you have names of
Do you think
superstars there?
everything could make it welterweight?
Well, I've read an article like he was calling everybody. He said that if Kadestam was going to get injured the Askren fight, he would love to jump in the weight, fight Ben Askren. He's going to drop down to featherweight and fight Martin Nguyen. And, clearly he's calling out Edward again for a rematch here in Manila or in Singapore. So, yeah, yeah, I believe he's a man on a mission for a title.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Don't you think one championship has something up its sleeves? Like maybe they got a big name from the UFC or something. We don't know yet. If they're
Yeah, yeah,
confident to
hope so,
let
man.
Ben go.
Here's the thing about one. They are a great organization, but I believe they always don't make it when it comes to signing big names. However, if you watch the interviews of Benson Henderson or even Rory McDonald, they always say if it wasn't Bellator, they would sign with one championship. That would be something that I would like to ask Victor or Rich Franklin in the future. Why can't they lock names like that? I mean, they have the money, but what's
Yeah, did you see those sponsors, man? It's crazy.
Yeah,
yeah,
good point, bro. Especially with the case of Benson Henderson, right? If you know, like he has this Korean blood or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
Yeah.
it
indeed.
would be huge for Asia. Uh, Former UFC champion, just like past UFC champions fighting one, Jens Pulver, who's this? Andrei Arlovsky, right?
Yeah.
With the first event here. So signing these former UFC champions is a good idea. It's a big draw, especially here in Asia. So yeah, I hope someday, right? So
Yeah, actually, I do hope Ben would should have signed with one because after knowing that Askren would retire, I'm sure they're going to make him the poster boy for that division. The thing
mhm.
with fighters in one like Gafarov or Aoki, they are very good when it comes to fighting, but when it comes to the promotional aspect, it's really hard to promote someone who can't speak English well. That's why I guess they're happy that Martin Nguyen or even Eduard Folayang and Ev Ting also are one of those in the top echelon aside from Angela Lee and Brandon Vera. And that's really
Mhm.
one of those things that I wish that one championship could do to their fighters. Do you think that they need translators or they need some kind of publicist to get their fighters over?
Yeah, I believe, man. It's like this in the case with UFC. These Brazilian champions before. Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo. They have translators like in Portuguese. Translating to English, and they were dominant champions back then. They were the stars of their division and their country. So, regardless of the language barrier, them winning continuously and dominantly, I think the action speaks louder than words there, right? Establishing themselves as dominant champions. But yeah, I think when the translators do their job so well, that's promoting the promotion, the star itself, and their sponsors, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah, indeed, and
That's a good point.
that's a very good point. Now, here's the next thing. One comes back to Manila in November. It's kind of a month earlier. They usually go here at December, but this time they're going
Yeah,
November. You got any
I
info
believe it's
on the matches
represent.
that's gonna happen?
Okay, first of all, it's gonna be Edward Folayang defending the belt again, but his opponent, well, it's a stacked lightweight division, right? I mean, there's Timofey Nastyugin, Shannon Werchai, even Kotetsu Boku, the former champion. He's on a winning streak now. I hope my boy Ed Ting gets another shot. I mean, last April, Kings of Destiny, the most watched sports event in the Philippines, based on ABS-CBN Sports in Action
Oh wow.
media or something. So, yeah, it was history, right, for MMA, for local MMA. So, also Ev Team went 5 rounds, the champ, and no disrespect to the landslide. You saw his face, right? So,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
boy Ev
Ev
fought,
did a
fought really hard.
really great showing that fight. He didn't embarrass himself, and he was very. It was a very close fight. The only difference is they score it by the whole fight, not by rounds.
Yeah,
I do believe that
entirely.
if they scored by rounds, I do believe that he has a chance to get a split decision W. But they do it by the duration of the fight, and Edward has some heavy hands and heavy kicks. That's why you got the W.
Yeah,
But everything is still a force to be reckoned with. How
yeah,
about
I agree. Not being
Brandon
biased,
Vera?
right?
Yeah. How about Brandon Vera, man? Who do you think he's gonna fight on November?
Okay, I've seen this Brandon Vera post that he's going to defend his belt first quarter of 2018. I'm not so
Oh.
sure with that. Okay,
Gonna
so
get November.
maybe not this November, maybe early next year. So
Oh.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
expecting Polaya title defense this
Oh.
November and maybe some big matchup for Honorio Banario, especially he's on a win streak too. But the problem is he's teammate with Edward, right? They're both in the lightweight division, and them fighting together. Well, that's impossible for me. I think it's not going to be an evolved versus evolved thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
why
why
I didn't believe the Ben Askren versus Shinya Aoki because they're on the same team, and I'm sure that
yeah,
Honorio wouldn't fight Edward anytime soon, unless one of them leaves the camp, which is unlikely.
yeah,
So
mhm,
yeah, man, I thought Brandon was gonna fight because that's how they always do to the Philippines. They always have
yeah.
Bibiano
The
or
Christmas,
Edward and
yeah.
December. Man,
And
that's
also,
why you got Brian.
he's busy with his Bypass movie
Mm.
taping, or
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah, with
Alliance in the
Anchor.
Philippines is opening too. We're gonna
Yeah,
have Alliance
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, Alliance. So
it's
yeah, he's a
been
busy man, and I've heard him running for senator someday.
Is that true?
yeah.
So yeah,
I think he did
I don't know,
say
maybe,
he will. I think he's gonna start with his
yeah,
province, then he'll move to senator. He's going the Pacquiao route.
yeah, yeah, correct, bro, correct.
He's a very smart guy
He's
though.
on that path. Yeah. Brandon signing one, that was smart, I think, with Victor and Shalry. I mean, aside from being a Filipino American, he can speak Tagalog, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Than any film athletes out there, like, he even speaks fluently than Mark Munoz, then
Check
then
Philippines.
Felipe Nuber, Felipe Nuber.
Yeah, but he retired already.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good market for Brandon. So yeah, good for the Philippines.
Oh yeah, indeed. Now, next thing, man. What do you think about Eric Kelly? He's been on a slump, but
Yeah.
uh,
That's too bad, right? I mean, I remember his fight with Rob Lucida.
mm-hmm.
That that win, I remembered he won that 50,000 US dollars fight bonus something.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that was a turning point of his career, and sadly, now he's in a losing streak against what Jadamba. Against his last fight was against what?
Who was this last fight?
Kotetsuboku.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boku. Yeah.
Boku.
So those are top lightweights, big names, but he even lost to my boy Ev, unfortunately. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's sad for Eric.
yeah. I think it started once he left Muay Fit. Uh, when he left
Mm-hmm.
camp, I think that's because he did mention he's training under YouTube. He watches a video on YouTube, then he does it.
Yeah. Absorb the learnings there, right? But maybe just maybe it's time for him to join with the most prominent team in Baguio, which is Team
Yeah,
Lakay.
actually,
Brother
that's
Edward
yeah.
there. Yeah, so yeah, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
Yeah, that's actually my next question. Eric says that he doesn't want to go to Lakay before because he doesn't want to be tied up. But the thing is,
Mhm.
man, he doesn't have much years left, and
Yeah,
he's not learning much. I think his brother Edward is a much better fighter now than he was before, and I
correct.
think Eric would benefit from the Lakay. But do
I
you
agree.
think that Lakai could help someone like Eric Kelly?
Well, I believe yes, if he's willing to listen and learn at his age now, at his status now, with Coach Mark Sangyao's ability to to mold these athletes. Team Lakay was not that dominant before. It started
Mm-hmm.
with them having this takedown defense somewhere, and crisp striking on the feet, and was able to to have takedown defense lately. I don't know if you saw their recent fights. So yeah, they have this takedown defense and submission games. I believe Honorio got this victory by a armbar against Ranveer
Mm-hmm.
Singh Meena
Yeah.
back in December. So they're having their ground games now. They're starting to pick up MMA, not
Yeah.
just from the wushu style of fighting.
Yo, one
So
shot.
yeah, good for them. I think Eric Kelly, it's not too late. Maybe jump another gym right now. Team Lakay is the place. You're a native in Baguio, and your brother's there. Your kababayans are there. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing with Lakai. There was a point where all Lakai fighters are on a slump, like they're on a losing streak. Even Honorio had, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or 6 losses.
Yeah.
Then
Mm-hmm.
suddenly they became monsters in the ground
Yeah.
game.
Career
They were
resurgence.
yeah, usually all Lakais they lost by rear naked choke. Then
Mm-hmm.
suddenly they were able to find a way to do a defense on the rear naked choke.
Right.
Then they became stronger at wrestling, grappling, and it's really amazing because people started to count off the Lakai fighters
Yeah.
because they think they're just strikers, and now Edwards champion Honorio is on a streak. Then even
Yeah.
if Joshua Pasio lost, man, he still is a monster in that 115 division.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct.
It's really
He defeated
amazing.
the former champ, Dejdam Wrong, right? So
Yeah,
that was for his career, I believe.
yeah, actually,
Good thing for Joshua.
the current strawweight champion did say that he thought he was going to die fighting Joshua, and yeah, he just had a
Yeah.
recent setback. But had he won, I'm sure he would have gotten the first crack at that
Mhm.
115 title.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how about?
It
Mhm.
was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, how about you, Chola? What do you think about the Lakai?
Yeah. What do you think, bro?
Well, I don't think you could argue after Eduard Folayang defended against Shinya Aoki, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like elite level, and he survived.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's how I think Edward won in the first place. It's the mental game. Going rounds one and two, knowing that he can defend from the ground.
Hmm.
I think he became fearless and he started striking on the third round. Because if you would see the
Yeah,
first two rounds, he was very cautious with his strikes. He's not throwing much of his patented spinning wheel kick, the spinning wheel
good
kick,
kick. Yeah.
Back fist.
and the back fist. Then suddenly he became that striking monster on the third round where he finished him.
You know, Shinya was doing great, like I said. He pushed Edward into the fence, shooting for a takedown. Great game plan, in my opinion. But you know, when Edward, you know, survived the ground game, starting to hurt him, you know, and Shinya was gassing and backpedaling, and that was it. You know, Edward smelled blood right there. So yeah, he go for the kill. So that's it. You know, good game plan, Edward. Good game plan. And
Good.
he became a rock star after that. Really.
Yeah, who beat Shinya
Yeah.
Yuki?
Yeah. You know,
Who does that?
it gained popularity worldwide. So yeah, good for Edward. You know, he's a good guy. Really humble guy.
I mean, Edward's really good, but I think you could count that as upset of the year back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, that was an upset, man. Shinya was on a hot streak. He was beating
Mhm.
fighters left and right. Then suddenly here comes Edward, who everybody thinks that he's going to lose because of the ground
Yeah.
game. Then suddenly he won that fight by surprise.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Even I'm surprised, bro.
Uh, I'm,
Yeah.
I was surprised Striegel left, actually, to be honest.
Oh yeah, me too, man. You know, it
But
was this URCC press
Curtis.
conference, and he showed up. You know.
yeah, but good for him. I think he wants the path to the UFC, and
Yeah.
if you're on one, there's really a slim chance of going to the UFC because
Hmm.
literally they are the rivals. In Asia and in America. In Asia, this is one territory. In America, it's UFC. So I guess that's why it's hard to transition from one to UFC because they are equal when it comes to the pay, the the sponsors, or even the production value, man. A lot of
Hmm.
Americans are amazed at the production value of one championship.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
even Eddie Bravo said he was invited to watch one championships events, and he said he
Hmm.
saw nothing like it. The production value is just
Yeah.
over the top.
Yeah. I've heard Eddie talking about entrances with stories, right? You
Yeah,
know, they have the stories with the Titantron. So yeah, that was a entrance
you,
for
you,
fighters, right? Like UFC doesn't have those trons, so yeah,
yeah, you know
good
what
for
I miss
Asia.
though? I kind of miss having Lenny Hart live.
Yeah. Did you know this, guys?
Yeah, it's just
The
different
voice
when she
now
does
is
it
different.
live.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's not Lenny Hart
No,
anymore?
I think it's just
No,
recorded.
it's not anymore. I think it started with the Singapore event last May. It wasn't her.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
wasn't
Oh,
her. Well, Lenny is my friend on Facebook, and she's working in Japan.
I think she works with Road FC right now. She does
Yeah,
work with
yeah,
Road FC.
yeah.
but is
Prison.
there still Risen right now, or did they stop? Because after two events, I haven't heard from them anymore.
Yeah, there's still reason. I think the last event involves Kyoji Horiguchi. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
Oh,
there's still reason. Yeah, and
I
Rome
think
FC with that $1 million lightweight tournament or something. So yeah.
you know what I don't like about Risen though. They always have Gabby Garcia fight very overmatched opponents. I think at one point
Yeah.
she was facing a grandma and an out of shape
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
woman or something.
well, yeah. I think they're just trying to build Gabby since they lost Fedor. Or is Fedor still allowed to fight under Risen? Or is he under Bellator exclusively?
I know even pro, right? Yeah, yeah. That his last fight against Matt Mitrione, right, with Bellator, New York City. He lost,
Crazy
but
double
yeah, I don't know what's
knockout.
his.
Yeah.
But yeah, next question. Speaking of women, what do you think of Angela Lee versus Mel Yamaguchi? Do you think it's gonna be a barn
Uh,
burner again, or do you think Angela's gonna be smarter this time?
I think Angela's gonna be smarter this time. You saw the Estela Nunez fight, where
Oh yeah.
clearly she improved a lot. You know, also the fight with Jenny Huang.
Mm-hmm.
So Angela keeps on improving every single fight. Yeah, it's gonna be Angela this time. I think I don't know, early TKO. Yeah, I'm
Early
predicting.
TKO for
Yeah,
Angela, huh? Man,
the
that's
second
new.
round. Yeah, just a prediction.
Yeah, I was expecting a submission, but yeah, I guess during the first match she did try to submit her a lot of times, but Mel is such a tough fighter. And
Yeah,
yeah, but do you think she's gonna get that bonus again, or do you think that the fight is not gonna be exciting the second time around?
well, I saw the Yamaguchi versus Huang fight
Mm-hmm.
where May won that fight, and I haven't seen any progress there in her game plan. And the difference between the two is Angela keeps on learning in Evolve and in United MMA in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So with two camps out there, she has her knowledge combined, and she's quickly adapting to it. So I'm not surprised Angela Lee can compete in the UFC in the future. Who knows?
No, I'm
So yeah, I'm
sure.
expecting Angela dominant victory there.
It's just a question of is one willing to let Angela Lee cross over?
Now I think they
Okay,
want a promotion, a
question, bro.
UFC versus one event where Angela faces Joanna, but yeah, I think the UFC
Wow,
didn't
yeah.
allow that.
I don't think Joanna's a good matchup though.
Yeah, who do you think would win? Johanna, Angela Lee. Who do you got?
I'm an Asian guy, right? So normally I would root for Angela, but stylistically, I think Joanna's a different level. Her striking, her Muay Thai, and she has takedown defense too. Recently, against Jessica Andrade and
Yeah.
against Claudia Gadelia. You know,
Even her championship fight with what's her name? Her championship fight, the first one.
what was it? Was it with Carla? Carla Esparza?
Yeah, Carla Esparza. She was
Yeah.
supposed to be a really good wrestler.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
I think Joanna's gonna win. So yeah, different level, bro.
I think Joanna against anyone, Joanna's gonna win.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't know
Mr. Who trains her.
who came close against Joanna. I can't remember. Uh, did
Y-
anyone
no,
came close against
I
her?
don't think
Maybe
anyone.
Kovalkiewicz?
No,
That
Johanna's.
looks confused.
In
Yeah,
that
she.
one particular round, right?
Yeah, just one
Lisa?
round.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
But if Angela Lee's watching this show, I'm rooting for her, and I think she could win. So
mhm.
Angela, if you're watching, just to be the opposition, I'm rooting for you, and
Don't
I
worry,
believe you'd win.
don't worry. I'm gonna tag Christian when you post this video, bro.
I
The
could
the
root for
Lee family's
Angela
gonna.
all day, but that's Joanna. I mean,
I still believe Angela would win, dominate.
I wanted McGregor to win against Mayweather, but you know what happens.
Brothers are arguing now.
But yeah, man, it is gonna be a great fight. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's two against one right now. But I'm sure if the others watch this, some would go on my side.
For
Here's a
sure.
thought. You guys said a while ago that Brandon Vera made the smart choice by going to one.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
with
Uh,
all due respect to Brandon, I believe his last two fights with UFC, his last fight was against Ben Rothwell. I
uh-huh.
remember. He lost, right? So he's on this losing skid too.
Yeah, but
He's getting
here's the
older,
thing though.
and maybe it's time to go to the motherland, which is in here in the Philippines, and I've heard that one of his dreams was to compete here.
Yeah, I did hear
So
that.
that was a great move for Brandon for his career. So yeah, signing with Asia's biggest MMA organization. So
Here's
yes,
my point though. Those fights where Brandon lost were before the USADA era.
And
It was
yeah,
yeah,
pre-USADA. You
yeah.
have I think Rothwell
yeah, he got popped.
got flagged.
Hmm.
Also,
You have Thiago Silva,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have John Jones, man. John
Where he
Jones.
broke his nose, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So could you just imagine if Brandon was fighting now under the USADA banner?
yeah, but still, I think the
But he's
heavyweight.
getting older, though. Who knows? And heavyweight divisions are like monsters, man. Fights are stopping at an early rounds because they hit hard. So he's been eating this strikes for his entire career, and some injuries. So it's like Shogun eating a lot of strikes back in the
In the
Pride
prime days.
days. When he fought in the UFC, he won against Machida. But after those fights, he has his ups and downs.
He has
And one
really
of the
bad knees
causes,
too.
yeah, the injuries and the damages, long term. So, yeah,
Yeah, but in fairness to Brandon, he's not fighting no pushovers in one.
hmm
I've heard Shrek Hideki Sekine, the last one he fought, is a monster when it comes to the ground. Then
yeah,
Paul Cheng or even Chai when he was supposed. I mean, one isn't giving him easy fighters. The only
hmm
problem is they're not giving him popular fighters. So,
yeah.
do you think one should sign? I do know Frank Mir is under Bellator, but do you think
Yeah,
that
too bad.
one championship should sign a big name? Like I believe is Bigfoot exclusive to any organization right now, or is he a free agent?
I think he's fighting. Bigfoot is fighting with Glory, I believe,
Ah,
kickboxing. Uh, I forgot his opponent, but Bigfoot is fighting there. It's gonna be Glory's first event in China, maybe. So yeah,
oh,
Bigfoot is
Man,
there.
everyone wants to go to China,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Everybody's going to
one
China.
championship makes it easy. They
Yeah,
make it look so easy to go to China.
yeah,
UFC wanted to go to China.
yeah. I agree.
URCC wanted to go to China.
yeah, they
Yeah,
I think it was rescheduled or something, but yeah, one is the first to hold an event of that magnitude in China,
mm, yeah,
and they could never that could never be done during that time, and they did it. That's why one got that notoriety for being the best in Asian MMA.
I agree. I agree, bro.
But you being
Speaking
mhm. Oh yeah, you
speaking
being
of
okay,
Brandon's
go ahead,
heavyweight
sorry.
division. Uh, okay, it's okay, bro. Hideki Sekine comes back in Jakarta this
Mhm.
September 16 against Alan Ngalani in a heavyweight bout. The winner could be Brandon's next opponent.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be a rematch against Sekine or maybe Ngalani getting his shot for the first time.
Oh,
He's a hard.
Elaine is strong.
He's a beast though.
Yeah, man.
He
He
kind of
destroyed
gasses
Force of
though.
War.
Yeah, he gasses out
Yeah,
after a
that's the
round or
only
two.
problem.
Well,
Maybe run for
if you look that
rounds.
big, man, there's got to be a drawback somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
that's the
yeah,
problem. Carrying those.
yeah, Brian, do you think being the expert when it comes to one championship, what part do you think they should still improve in terms of, let's say, fights or production or even in promotion? What aspect do you think they should improve
Okay.
in?
Okay. I just want other divisions gets competition. Clearly the heavyweights lacking of heavyweights and light heavyweight champion Roger Gracie not defending
Oh
his title.
yeah,
Not
it's been a while.
not defending his title recently. We need light heavyweights there as well. More middleweights for Angla Ansang to fight. Also
Mm-hmm.
welterweights. They're stacked with lighter weight weight classes.
Yeah.
In the lightweight, featherweight, bantamweight, flyweight. They're stacked in those divisions, but the bigger weight classes, they lack competition. Unfortunately, hopefully someday, more signings to come, more competitions for the champions. Uh, Marketing wise, they're doing great.
I
I
have a few
think
ideas with the
since low,
marketing though. Um,
yeah, good,
I mean,
doing live events in local channels.
uh,
That's good, bro.
I kind of have a suggestion for the fighters, and I hope this doesn't come off as racist in any
Okay,
way.
okay.
But some of the names are too hard to pronounce. Like they're so good. There are so
Oh
many
yeah.
awesome fighters, but man, you can't pronounce some of those
Yeah,
names.
the first strawweight
Yeah,
champion. I can't pronounce his
Yeah, I
name, but
mean we're all not Bryans here, and
it's Crew Wrong. That I just call him
Uh,
Crew
it,
Wrong, but it's a longer
that's
version.
the wrong store. Amnwai Siricho.
See,
yeah.
he
okay,
knows
you
it.
got it.
He knows it.
Or
It
if
kind
you
of
want to shortcut, it's gonna be crew wrong or DSA. That's it.
Yeah, they should have. They should think of
yeah,
that.
that's the thing. When the UFC started, they didn't. I think they didn't really use the real names. They would use names that would remind you of those people. Like, even when Crow Cop went from
Yeah,
Japan to the US, they didn't name him Filipovic. They just had him as Crow Cop, the Croatian cop. So
yeah,
maybe they
yeah.
could do something similar with one.
Yeah,
Or
I
like
think.
in WWE, right, bro? I mean, they're
Yeah,
having the
Yeah, I
screen
mean,
name, in ring names. Antonio Cesaro, just only Cesaro. What's this? Uh, what are these other names? Like they have this only just one name right there. Maybe they can
Rusev.
do Brock Lesnar to Lesnar or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I think yeah. There's a lot because it's like it's a mixed culture, and some has very long names,
Yeah, I
and
think
mm.
that's
it's
why
hard.
Lenny Hart resigned, maybe. Names were too long, man.
She's paid by the
Yeah.
syllable.
Like how
not,
do
not
you do
worthy
that?
with her side.
How do you
That's
shrill
that
some of
so.
those names?
Obviously, one has their new voice, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And somehow they got Lenny's voice a bit, but you can tell it's different. She's not that one anymore. So yeah, but still, good job for finding a replacement, I guess.
Anyways, Brian, let's talk about you for a quick one. How do you get all those fighter merch? In case you don't know Brian, he
Oh,
has all the fighter. I don't know how he gets it. He gets a lot of memorabilia. So for the fight fans watching this, how do you do it?
I don't think Brian's gonna share that
No, let's
because
just.
he's gonna have more competition.
No, I think he
well, I'm gonna
has
share
enough,
with
man.
the empty good friend. He
Hmm.
gave this cap, this shirt. So you got to earn their trust. Be a fan, not really harass them or anything. Just be normal. Just be a passionate fan, and they will notice. Trust me.
Yeah,
So just be
I think you should
genuine
walk him
and
out.
approach them with respect. Yeah, for sure. That's it.
man. I did.
Just
I
just
did.
be.
Yeah, I did tag Ev thing about that. During the title fight, Brian should have walked him out
Oh,
because
yeah.
he is going against the whole country of the
Yeah,
Philippines.
man.
Man, that's
That was
he's the
hard.
1% of everything supporter that is Filipino, and I'm sure you walking in Moa Arena wearing the Evting merch, you're the other Filipino Folayang fans are raising their eyebrows. That's why I told
Yeah,
Evting, save him,
that's
bring
true,
him
bro.
backstage, and let him walk you out. But I
That's
don't know
true.
what happened. Next
It's like
time,
I'm a
maybe.
traitor. That's true, man. Yeah, I walk in, see their dreams during the press con, and like, I'm the only one wearing this shirt, and they were surprised, man, that this guy's a Kiwi Malaysian, and he has a supporter here. They can't believe it. Mostly would cheer for Edward, being a Filipino and a champion. Uh, oh yeah, man. I would love to walk with him. Maybe someday, who knows? Thank you for Paulo's comment too. But I believe Eb's corner back in April. I think they were full, man. You know, he's with his coaches. He his Auckland MMA team there, so I can totally understand. But in return, he gave me this cap, his old shirt, during his first or second fight with one and two tickets. So yeah, he make it up
Oh.
for me.
Well, yeah. Since
So
we're
I
still
can't I
here,
can't
Mhm. Yeah. Since we're in the episode,
again again.
you gotta walk. You gotta bring this guy out with you during your match in Manila. If ever you come back,
PC, stop, bro.
he's going against the whole country of the Philippines, and
For sure,
everyone.
man. You know.
It's I. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Brian, but he's having some fun bickering with other Filipino fighters because clearly,
Yeah.
even beside Team Lakay, he was wearing your shirt. And
You know, I'm gonna
that's
tell
balls,
you,
man.
during the City of Dreams tour, during that fight week, Honorio Bonario joked me, man. Like he said,
What did he
"Hey,
say?
the main event's gonna be good, right?" You know, like imagine the history with FT. He lost to FT. FT is going to fight his teammate. I'm friends with most of Team Lakay on Facebook. Imagine this, right? Like, oh man, I'm gonna status hashtag and new Team ET. Just believe. And most of them are Lakay boys watching. Like, oh, what's this guy up to, right? That's really hard,
did
man.
any
Let me
of
tell
the
you.
Lakay fighters like your post or put any emoji?
No,
Or
none. Well,
well,
after the fight, I posted this Edward Folayang picture with me and said, "Hey, congrats, kuya. Congrats, champ. Bati na tayo," sabi ko. I said, "Bati na tayo," no?
when's the
And
last time you've
Joshua
been to
Pasio
Baguio?
commented with a smiling face, man. It was fun. It was fun, man. It was sport. It
Hey,
was
when's the
sport,
last
bro.
time you've been to Baguio?
Never, never, bro. Never
Yeah,
got a
you
chance.
should.
But,
Don't go there.
You can't
Just stay where you
oh,
are.
yeah.
you
You're going to
can't
throw
go
a
to
spinning
Baguio
kick on me.
anymore.
I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I think
Yep.
after the fight was done, we all just came as one community because during the fight you
Yeah.
could root who you want, but after you were all friends here, and fight fans or fighters alike.
They're very
So yeah.
sport, the Lakay
Hmm.
boys. They're very sport, man. You know, uh, I remember having this point with Honorio during the
Hmm.
music hall ABS-CBN tour thing.
Hmm.
He noticed the shirt and he said, "Hey, that's F10's shirt, right?" So yeah, then I said, "Yeah." Then he said, after our fight back in Malaysia, Ev approached me and said hi. He told me that Ev was really a nice guy. So I think with the fighters, it's really normal. They're doing their jobs. The
Yeah,
fans
sure.
have a choice on who to root for. So they're very sport, I guess. So that's very normal with their profession. So yeah.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much for. We're almost an hour in, and you've been filling us with good details. Some details that
Thanks,
even
man.
I don't know. So before we
Yeah.
end this, is there anyone you would want to greet? Anything you would want to promote, or anything you would want to say at all?
Okay. Okay. I would like to greet and have a shout out to my boy Ev Ting. Congrats, bro, with your recent victory against Nobutatsu Suzuki. And I hope you get another title shot. If not, Amir Khan. Amir Khan challenged him during his last fight, his victory against his opponent, Jaroslav Jartin. Yeah. So he called out everything or the champ Eduard Folayang. So If Eb doesn't get the Folayang rematch, then maybe that's Amir Khan versus him in Singapore. So I wish you good luck and shout out to Saigon Sports Club and for the shirt and cap. Thank you, ET. God bless you, bro. And Fight Sports Manila, of course. Cholo and
Thank
Paulo,
you.
thank you guys. Thanks for
Hey,
having
anytime,
me.
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks so much for the
And
time.
by the way, Brian, this isn't going to be the last time you'll be here. Oh, by the way, do you have any Twitter or Facebook
Oh,
that you would want to plug? This is number one fight
well,
fans. Or
thank you, man. Facebook, it's Mitzi. Yeah, and also Instagram, Facebook Mafia29, Twitter at Real Brian C. That's it.
oh, at Real Brian C
Yeah,
Twitter.
we gotta get that verified soon.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Anyways,
Thank
thank
you.
you
Thank you.
so much,
Hope
Brian,
not the
and
last.
yeah, thank you so much, buddy. And again, this is the Pulse where we bring the fans closer to the fight. Again, Fight Sport Manila. My name is Paulo Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm Cholo Gonzalez.
We're brothers, and we're gonna see you next week.